Yeah, so Brian, it's not much of a Samoan name.
No. No.
Brian.
Yeah, no. Absolutely.
And do people say Ann?
all the time. Brian,
A-N-E.
Annie, yeah, Brian Annie, Brian Ann, yeah, you name it. It was,
Brian Annie.
yeah, so I tell them it's Annie.
Yeah.
It's short for Arnie Schwarzenegger. So, and then they're like, oh, that's right.
Get
Just
to
not-
the
yeah,
job.
Yeah. Get down to the chopper.
Yeah, so your Samoan name?
Yeah, Samoan name is Kosena.
Kosenga.
Yeah, so
Not Kosenga?
Kosena.
Kosena.
Korsena.
Yeah, Kosena.
Korsena.
So it's it's actually a biblical name. So it's translated Kosna. So Kosena.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
Wow. And what number are you in your family?
I am number 1 in between 14. So so Dad had 2 before me, and then 9, and
After,
then after me. But then my mum had 4 after me.
Wow.
Hence the reason why I'm one of 14.
14. Close family?
Close family, yeah. So
Hey, family, come around for lunch.
yeah,
180 people.
oh yeah, and that's just immediate.
Yeah.
And everyone else, sorry, can't come.
Yeah.
Just having immediate family. Nah. But yeah, back home, obviously, back in New Zealand, tried to meet, but it's just too crazy.
Yeah.
You know, there's just the logistics of it all is just nah.
So you were born in Samoa?
Yeah, I was actually born in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Born and bred in Greyland.
Yeah, yo.
Yeah.
Samoa Central
yeah.
at the day.
Samoa Central back in the day, that's right.
74, baby.
That's it.
Yo.
Oh, yeah.
He's actually a day
Older.
before me, a day older than me. He was born on the 28th of December, and
Yeah.
I'm
So
29.
29th.
No way.
Yeah.
That's why we're special babies.
Yeah.
Special.
We're the babies that don't have birthdays. You know, it's happy birthday. It's Merry Christmas and Happy Birthday, son. Well, and then everyone's
day.
on holidays and
Same day.
I've got a video that would say otherwise for your birthday.
Oh. Oh.
yeah. So he's probably getting double portion.
Oh, he gets the special treatment.
That's because I
every
make
year.
I
There you
make
go.
it.
Makes the
It's
church.
making up. It's making
Making
up for
up.
our childhood, you know,
Yeah.
days when.
So I do it on behalf of.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh, nicest guy.
So Greyland 74.
Yep, Greyland 74.
Did you play for the Bulldogs there? Or?
Yeah, I played for the Richmond Bulldogs there back in
Yeah.
the day.
Wow.
In fact, I was good friends with the likes of Nigel Vangana and
Oh, yep.
Joe Vangana and all that back in the day. So
So leaguey
much.
more than union.
yeah, I think we had no option. It was like you play rugby and you also play league. You know,
yeah.
and I think more so rugby. You know, we all started with the no shoes. You know, catch the leather ball back then, and then league came about, and then in the 80s, and then it was until then, playing dual. All of a sudden, you're playing in the morning, playing rugby for school, and you're playing league for club. It's just like it was just normal for us back in the day.
Wow.
It was crazy.
And you went Mount Albert Grammar?
Then I went to Mount Up Grammar. I actually went to Seddon High School.
Seddon.
So that's Western Springs High School. That's just down the road from Greyland, where Western Springs, where the zoo is. It was right there. So it used to be called Seddon Tech back in the day. And so went there because it was just the closest school there at that time when I was staying for my grandmother. But my parents were living in Mount Albert at the time.
Right.
And then, up to no good at school. And I was like, right, you're going to Mount Albert Grammar.
Wow.
Because it was just, the boys, girls, the co-ed schools. So they wanted to put me in an all-boys school. So I said to them, Avondale College. It's an all-boys school.
It's okay.
It's a prestigious.
I told my mum, it's another all-boys school. Okay, we'll go to Avondale. So we parked up at school at Avondale. 8 o'clock in the morning, you got these girls running around the school doing laps and all of that. And she was like, you said it was.
Oh, did I? How's that to trust you though?
And Greyland to Mount Albert, to Avondale is like, Mount Albert's the right place to go.
Yeah. So then you get an all boys school, and all the boys are like, hey. Yeah, all right. Yeah, we are.
So, deeply growing up Samoan, deeply religious.
Right, yeah, religious, man. Caught up in the whole Methodist.
Whangasa,
Yeah, everything. And hence, raised and speaking the language, doing all the Samoan culture stuff as well. As you know, it's pretty crazy.
I know.
Yeah. Back then, the White Sundays and all that, all the cousins and everyone else were getting these one-liners, and we were getting. Yeah, that was the end of the show, guys, and just did the whole script, and I think I was one of those. Give me 3 pages and I'll recite them all. And, you just learn it off like that. And because thanks to my grandmother, who I was sleeping next to when I was a kid and had to learn the language, that was my actually first language, was speaking Samoan.
Wow.
So I couldn't speak English. So it was almost like this fob kid in New Zealand, and so I had to practically learn how to speak Samoan. Obviously, she taught us, and we had to speak Samoan at home and English at school, obviously. So I'm trying to learn the ABCs.
Interesting, because my dad Samoan, but he wasn't allowed to speak Samoan at home.
Yeah,
because he was now in Auckland, so he lived in Samoa for quite a while, but then came here.
Yeah.
It was the opposite.
It's the opposite.
No
Totally
Samoan.
opposite.
You're English now.
Yeah. So
amazing,
Yeah, strange.
Trying to learn your ABCs and then you're trying to learn your A-E-I-O-Us. It's like, okay, who am I?
Yeah.
So it's crazy times when you're kids. So
yeah,
you learn to start reciting what your grandparents and your parents, what they're speaking to you, and you sort of pick up on it and so forth. You start learning how to read the Bible, and you go to Sunday school and you're reading the Bible, like literally, word for word. In the beginning, Iliamatanga, all that stuff was just crazy as a kid.
Wow.
And so lying down, listening to my grandmother, and then she'll say, okay, I'm gonna sing a song, I'm gonna sing a hymn, and then you're gonna pray first, and then I'm gonna pray. And I am just like literally just shaking my boots because I just do not know what to say. And then you just get this big whack. Listen. And then she starts praying. And that's like every night, like devotions. So you can imagine this 6-year-old kids coming home thinking, I'm going to get away. You know what I mean?
Can't wait for devotion.
Exactly, right?
God help me.
I'm just like,
wrong prayer. Don't pray that here.
How I came about it, you believe it or not, I recited some words, and even during school, coming home pretending I'm doing homework, but I'm writing down the stuff that my nana used to say, because my grandmother never opened her eyes at all. Like I've even done the next to her face once, just to see if she's listening or looking, So I thought, came up with a brilliant idea. I'm going to write it. I'm going to pull it out from the bed, and I'm going to read it. Right? And that's what I did. So then I goes, okay, I'm going to pray, and then I'll finish it off. I couldn't wait for that day. Like I literally went home and I was like, I can't wait to pray. So as soon as time came, and then sang our song, and she goes, okay, pray, and then I'll finish up. No worries. And then waited for it to close her eyes. Close her eyes. And I did that. Nothing. And I thought, here's my chance. Grabbed a little, pulled it up, and I just read it. It was in Samoan. And then after that, closed it, put it back, put it underneath my bed again. She prayed, and then once that was finished, she just went, where did that come from? And I said, I was just praying.
So then you became the favorite.
Well, yeah, it was pretty much, hey. And then it just dawned on me, like, I changed a few words, and then it just, rather than reading it, it just was in me, just reciting it, right? And so then I became this prayer warrior because my grandmother's a prayer warrior. And then I thought, at church, it was more or less just to keep our parents happy.
Yeah.
It was a religious thing for us to. It wasn't just to go in there. We just had nothing to do with relationship. It was like if I went to church, whether I was, hungover from the night before, what, but if I showed my face there, thus saith the Lord. My son was at church today.
Wow.
That's how it was. Yeah. That's how it was, and that's how we saw our forefathers. They were doing their thing, going out, whatever, and then come to church. And as long as you were there, oh boy,
Look good.
Yeah,
as long as you look good.
Yeah.
Sing a song.
Sung all the hymns. That's how we become. The choir boy turned up to every choir practice, and that's how it was. And that's how we thought I'm a Christian. Because that's just how it was and how we were taught when we were kids.
So you were brought up by your nan?
Yeah, I was brought up about 7 years old.
Is that like until you were 7?
Yeah.
Is that like what they say whāngai?
Yeah.
So you were whāngai. Just explain what that is.
It's almost giving the birthright as such, from your mum to your grandmother to say, hey, look, I really can't care for him anymore, but, I'm about to start my own life as such, So my mum was about to have her second child, but obviously to my stepdad at the time. And so she thought the best avenue for myself was for my grandmother, to learn the culture, learn the language. And I was going to be disciplined there,
Right.
So that's how it was. And it was really common back in the days.
Yeah.
That's just how it was. And all of a sudden, when they grow up, and then you go, oh, I thought that was the auntie. And goes, oh, yeah, it was the auntie, but she was the mum, as in she, was the mum at that time, and I was just like, and that's why we just like, what? I thought that was mum's sister, and that's not the child. And so there was a lot of that back in the day.
So a lot of the kids don't know when they're getting raped.
Didn't know.
Jeez.
Yeah. There's a lot of kids that didn't know, and then they didn't get told until they get to the age, hey, look, you're like, that's why I look different. That's why.
Man,
But
I still don't get it 100%. I know, I get it because Bud's lived with his grandparents, and there's seen some other people, and there's even some other people in our community that have had stuff. I don't, as a young Australian boy, it's different to, I don't get it, eh?
Yeah. And I think for us, obviously family orientation was just number one for us, and our cousins were our siblings first, before our own siblings. It's crazy because you always wondered why there was 20 of us sleeping in the living room, and that's just how it was when we grew up as kids back in the 70s and the 80s.
I love that side of it, eh? Because I've been blessed to see a bit of that side, being here with the community that we have. But I love that side because we're like, my family's all right, but not my family's amazing, but the closeness of cousins and stuff gets lost real easy. Eh? It doesn't.
Yeah.
But not in Samoan culture, not in Māori culture.
No. And even when there's confrontation, within the siblings, your parents and all that, the cousins always stay tight, They sort of try and keep that generation tight so that what they deal with. They have to deal with it, because if they don't deal with it, then it's just going to pass down to us, sort of thing. So we try and, not sort of brush it off or whatever. It's more so for us to say, whatever our parents are going through, we stick together.
Right.
Yeah, wow.
So you brought up in this deep, like,
Cultural.
religion, learning scripture, Bible.
Right up until, about 21,
But quite just form and performance and
Always.
no life in it? No.
That was pretty much our life in terms of just going to church and seeing the boys, doing choir, going to church, keep our parents happy, learning the culture sort of thing. But there was absolutely no relationship as such.
Was it like a vibe amongst the boys?
Always.
Of like putting a face on?
Always.
Because you're top boy, right?
Yeah. It was crazy. It was all the boys, we were doing our own thing, going out and all that, and then come to church, and it was just like, as long as you're representing the tenor and the choir and all that, mate, nothing else mattered. It was just one of those things, man, growing up, you know, and you just thought, yeah, as long as I keep coming to church, no matter what, you know, I'm keeping my grandmother happy, I'm keeping my family happy.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's quite funny.
And
Yeah.
that's how it was. That's what it was with the boys, you know.
So
It's crazy.
when did that? Okay, so you're aware of God.
Yeah.
But you're just there's no relationship.
Nothing at all.
When did that start? When did stuff shift?
Yeah, I think it shifted after my 21st. I think leading up to about 22, 23, because that's when I met my wife, my girlfriend at the time, Shirls, and she was actually praying for us, you know, in terms of our, you know, relationship and all that. And I think for me at that time, it was March the 3rd, 2002. That's when I gave my life to Christ. But
Oh wow!
before that, it was just like about a year or two of my wife and her cousins praying for us men, because there was a few of us cousins that we were playing footy and just not coming home till Sunday evening sort of thing. It was just, that was the routine throughout that time.
Right.
And so, yeah, we just lost our form of identity and everything. It was just like, yeah, nah.
Wow.
I've had enough of this, you know, just turning up and there's just nothing. It was just, you know.
Yeah.
So,
But you were doing all that stuff anyway.
Yeah,
all the parties and
Yeah.
all that anyway.
Yeah.
But you're just like, what's the point of showing up to church as well?
It's like, what's the point?
Yeah.
Was it like, what's the point of coming and showing face there, or was it like, man, what's the point of life? I need to get something from what we're pretending to do here.
I think it's more so the identity, you know, for us is trying to find something that we thought was out there, you know, because everything was just in church, you know what I mean? As in, you know, choir and, youth and just everything, you know, and just
Money.
Yeah, money. Oh, man, it was crazy. You know, we worked, you know, we get paid and then you get given $50 to try and spread that out throughout the week. That was it. You ask my wife, she got $50. Actually, I was more spoiled. I probably double that.
You didn't get your own money?
Nah.
It all goes into the family, and then the family wants to present the best to the church, so they give the most.
Yeah.
Then they got more mana.
It was all man, unfortunately.
The pastor's driving a Beamer. Or a
Not
Rolls
really.
Royce.
He'll probably be the same as well, you know, struggling as well. It was nothing like the parish was, you know, tithing or anything or giving. It was more so just giving food and, you know, it was almost like hamper every week.
Yeah, okay.
Pastors and whatnot, you know. So,
Shucks.
yeah, so we gave everything. That was to pay for all the bills at church, pay for everything. Yeah.
And this is at 21 still?
Yeah, this was still at 21.
Sheesh.
So, yeah. And so, you know, you get to a point as you get a little bit older and you're thinking, hey, what's going on? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All the questions starts going and all that. But, and so, you know, you go out and trying to explore, you know, surely there's something out there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But unbeknown to me, my wife's praying with her cousins, you know, because us guys is like, yeah, whatever.
What nationality is Cheryl?
Shirl's is Samoan. She's her parents Samoan as well. She's just got a bit of German in there somewhere.
Like my dad.
Yeah. Hence the reason why she's light coloured as well, you know, thinking she's Rara or whatever.
Yeah.
So, or Kiwi. So.
Yeah. Wow. So she's had a revelation of Christ, like, and praying for your relationship.
For us, definitely.
Wow.
She learned how to pray without the paper.
Without the paper.
Man.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Without trying to get the tick of approval.
Yeah. Absolutely. And so, we, 96, we're going to 98, my wife and I got married.
Come on.
Yeah, 23 years ago. So it was
Wow.
more. Yeah. And so at that time, we were going right in the thick of it, like the going out, the boys and everything. And so she's in there just praying.
Who are you playing for to be away a lot?
I was playing for Richmond at the time.
Oh, yeah.
And then I moved to South Auckland. She wanted just to grab me from Central because I was just up to no good. Pulled me out of there. We were going to move in with my parents. We were going to live in South Auckland.
Oh, yeah.
We just need to have a break and just, not get into that hole. All right. It was worse. It got worse because I was with her family. Now I'm with her brothers, and it just got worse.
Wow.
So I'm playing league with her brothers and all that. And
what's the
I played for
club?
Tara Scorpions at that time, and at Tara Scorpions, it's just like, boys were just
Hectic.
still on it before the game. And I'm like, we went to warm up, boys. Warm-ups? What's that, buddy? So, it was crazy. It was crazy this time. So, you're there doing the trainings, and then you're going playing Saturday, and then you don't come home till Sunday afternoon where everyone's having the salmon kongai, the feed, and you're walking through. It's just like, hey, that's how it was for, a couple of years, And then, I think the prayer almost got to we're going to finish if this is...
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I'm about to lose my family and everything.
You got kids and stuff?
Yeah. At that time, Faith was 1, I think, or 2. And Byron was just, baby. And I was still doing what I was doing because I just have no sense of, returning to church or doing anything. I knew it was there and so forth, but I was just caught up right in the thick of it all. And so they got to a point where it's either change your life or lose your family.
Wow.
Oh, man.
And it sort of woke me up, but I was like, okay. I said, well, we're going to church this Sunday.
What?
And if you come to church, just sit and just see where it's at.
Not a Samoan church.
No.
Yes.
So this time now we're at Destiny Church.
Right.
We're at this other church, and I was like, what's going on here?
Destiny.
Yeah. Destiny Church. So at that time, I was just like, okay, I'm just going to give it a shot because I'm about to lose all.
Right.
I'm about to lose my family, my wife, my kids. I'm actually going to lose myself.
Wow.
Because, just caught up in the thick of it all. I just thought, well, look, just going to give it a shot. Just go and see what's up. And at that time, preachers preaching about, the fatherhood. Out of all Sundays, I come in, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm hearing it from my wife, and I'm going to hear it from the preacher, right? And so he's preaching on about hands up, who's a daddy? And, okay, here we go. See, I'll put my hand up. Hands up who provides for their family, and dads that provide. Okay, I'm sure I provide for my family. Hands up those, who's left an inheritance for their kids, and and I was just like, inheritance? What's inheritance? I'm thinking, no, I don't think I've left anything, And then he says, he starts preaching about, the first thing, obviously with God, is to provide for your family, and you should be there for them. So everything that I was going through, and I'm thinking, did my wife speak to the preacher?
And that was like the last book.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So it's just like, what is going on here? And
Calling you out.
He's coming this week.
Exactly.
Can you preach on this?
I'm like, what's going on? So that whole month was a series about fatherhood, and so March the 3rd, 2002. I sort of said, you know what? If you're real,
I love that.
Here I am. If you're saying everything that I'm meant to be doing and that you're trying to speak into my life, then let's do this.
Wow.
So March the 3rd, 2002, my wife is just praying, and the altar call comes, and she's still praying, not knowing that I was the first one up in the front.
Wow. Because you were there for 4 weeks or something.
Yeah, just there for 4 weeks, just to keep my wife happy.
Yeah.
Unbeknown to me, God's got something else. And so I'm in the front just crying. I'm just like, God, if you're real, let's do this.
Wow.
You know, I need to change. I need something. I need something because I'm about to lose all. And so it was almost like all in, you know, chips. So I'm all in. And so then my wife opens her eyes and she just realizes,
oh man,
I'm going to the front, right? And she just starts boiling her eyes out. And and since then, man, you know, there's been the roller coasters and all that.
Sure.
You know, as you do in life.
Sure. When did you move over to Australia?
We moved over 2007. So we were there for about 4 or 5 years, and then 2007 we had a calling in our lives in terms of going over to Australia, and we wanted to start afresh, you know, and Charles's family and parents were living in Sydney at the time, and we thought originally we were meant to come to Brisbane, in Queensland, but I said, you know what, we've done life with my family, let's do life with mum and dad, you know, and they're in Sydney. And let's just, you know, the kids are young and, you know, they're going to retire in 5 years. Let's just create some memories and do life with mum and dad. And my wife was like, are you crazy?
Her mum and dad.
Her mum and dad. She was like, what? And so I said, yeah, man, you know, I mean, I want my kids to know the grandparents too.
Nice.
You know, so we did life with them for 5 years, and then they retired, got their super, and went straight back to Samoa. Hey, if you need us, just call us.
So that was 2000.
That was 2007, and we ended up going down to Hillsong down there, church down there, and so forth, and got right into it, man. Got right into church down there, and trying to outwork, you know, parenting and serving and ministry, and just right in the thick of it, because I started looking after the worship side of things down there.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that was crazy times too, man. Did a mission trip in 2011 down there, and it was crazy times. It was so cool.
And how many kids did you have by 2011?
2011, we had 4 kids at that time. We were already, Grace was obviously 2007, and then she was 4 weeks old when we flew over with her.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Oh, from New Zealand to Sydney.
Yeah, to Sydney.
Stay with
just stay with parents and did life. Yeah, so we did 7 years down there. 7 years, yeah. So we actually stayed an extra 2 years. It was like, okay, let's move now.
Cool.
But all in God's timing.
So then you came up here 2014.
2014.
Brisbane.
Got a transfer and through work and so forth, and came up here, went to church up here 2014. And then, just stuck right into ministry again. Serving.
Hillsong back up.
Yeah. We got transferred, came to Hillsong up here, and I thought I was going to get back into the whole worship leading and, you know, looking after the team, and got at other ideas and became service pastors at the Hillsong and the 11:30 service. So Charles and I were looking after that for about 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah. It was crazy. Looking after all the amazing volunteers and
How's the culture shock, like way back, going from what you know as like Samoan church to more of, you know, like a Pentecostal sort of?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, because I think it taught the disciplines of, you know, just turning up.
Yes.
Coming to, you know, and sacrificing that time and all that. Even though we didn't know what it was for, you know, just keep my parents out. You know what I mean? It was just like,
stop yourself from getting a hiding.
Exactly. It was like, you know, mate, you know, my wife's family, it was like the boys, the dad will beep the horn twice, and if you didn't come out the third time, there's a 2x4 going into the window. And you see them running out the garage into the car with their whites, just putting it on inside the car, because that's just how it was back then. the disciplines, it was crazy, man.
Yeah,
So
I get that. I like that, because there is a real quality to the discipline side of it.
Yeah.
Not the ruthlessness, but the training of the how important this is. This is obviously the line gets crossed, but
Yeah. And so, you're going through the whole, process of, who's your Lord and Savior, just all the questions as we go, and so who parted the sea and all that as we were kids through Sunday school. And then you go through the whole culture side of things as well. You're in plays, you're in the choir, you're in the youth. Oh, mate, it's just how it was, So that sort of taught me, especially with my grandmother, when I was talking about her fasting and, her praying for the next generation sort of thing. And I'm just like, what is she doing? Why is she fasting? What is fasting? Because we never got taught that stuff, we never got taught about fasting and, we talk about the prayer life, but nothing but fasting. And so that's why the question came up to her, and, what's this all about? And she's just like, I'm praying for the next generation.
Come on.
Get to know the Lord more intimately.
So do you think this probably answers itself. So your grandmother had a vibrant relationship with the Lord.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, without a doubt, man.
Yeah.
I think she's the one that's paved the way for us, in terms of, having that relationship.
So she would have wanted you to have that.
Absolutely.
Even if she had to beat it into you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You better know the Lord.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And she would try and make us understand through discipline.
Yeah,
but
right.
also in a loving way in terms of, I'm doing this for you.
Yeah, right.
And for your kids.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what kids? I don't have any kids. You know what I mean? Because I just didn't understand what she was doing. Didn't know what this generational blessing was she was talking about.
Amazing.
What is it? And that's why as you grow up and then you're thinking, oh my goodness, this is exactly what my grandma was talking about. You see the fruits of it all from her prayers and where I am today and what I've been through. And I just like, what? That's crazy.
That's awesome.
You seeing her do that stuff when you're younger is imprinting on you.
Big time.
But then coming over, like being a part of Hillsong, because Hillsong's massively different. Was there like significant times that you remember where like the penny was dropping? Like, for example, you're like, oh, that's what fasting is, when you hear about it for the first time, and then you see what she was doing. Yeah.
So a crazy time was, God rest her soul, 2010. She gave her life at a deathbed. And so I did it all on camera and we did the salvation prayer. And I was rejoicing on that day. I was, told my wife that she's going to life.
Who's this?
My grandmother.
Oh, yeah.
So that was 2010. And so 2 months later, she had gone to be with the Lord. And at that time, my heart, obviously, I was weeping. And I was just like, wow. And so my parents, my mum's siblings said, look, you were just as a son as much as, a grandchild. So you need to look after the day. So I'm like, so I got given the privilege of, I had the book and had to do everything. And the family had saved, I'm like 70K in to look after everything. So, yeah.
You're like, she's in heaven. She's going to see me pull out the paper.
So I'm doing everything, right? So we're doing all the salmon culture. And if you know the salmon culture, it's just like full-on fine mats. And,
I've seen a little bit.
Just everything, right? And so I'm on the book, so I've got to do the whole counting and giving back and bringing back and just the monetary side of things of everything, you name it. So did all that. Grandmother's Day was amazing. It was beautiful, and sent her off amazing. It was just so good. I was so happy. Got to do that. Unbeknown to me, though, that time I was flying back. So I was back in Auckland. I was flying back to Brisbane, and my heart was so heavy. Right, I was thinking to myself, what is going on? We just sent Nana off, and I sort of questioned God as, hey, what's this? And he goes, I need to see you. I'm on the flight, man. I want to go home to my family. So I'll come to church tonight and go and sit at the back. And, when I was with the Hillsong, I used to just, with the boys, sit in the front, whatever, and all that. But this time he's telling me to go sit in the front. So I told my wife, pick me up, drop me off to church. It was a 5 p.m. service. So I got there. I said, well, what are we doing, Lord?
In Auckland?
No, this is in Sydney now. So
Sydney,
we moved to Sydney. Gone to Sydney. So I'm flying back to Sydney. Wife's dropped me off to church, and I'm going to church by myself, which was really weird. So you walk in there, go to the top, just obeying the Lord. Just go walk to the top. Okay, I'm going to the top. I get there, and there's just like these few empty seats and some people sitting on the side there. And I'm thinking, what's going on, Lord? And he goes, don't worry. I just need to speak to you. Okay. My heart was so heavy. I thought to myself, what is going on? Only to realize that I hadn't grieved for my nana.
Right.
Because I was just so busy on the books, making sure everything was good, family was happy, but I just didn't grieve.
Yeah,
and
no
then
time
no time. Even when I sung her song, It Is Well, I sung that song, but it was like, okay, I gotta hurry up because I gotta get back to the family stuff because I'm just gotta make sure everything is on point.
Yeah, it's ticking all the boxes.
Just ticking all the boxes. Yeah. And so I'm in there. And then I'm realizing, okay, I'm about to have this encounter, with God, and okay. And then so I just sort of, okay, Lord, I'm ready, It was nothing. Then all of a sudden, the first song, the Hillsong plays is It Is Well.
Oh, man.
The guy that sings it is Matthew. He was part of our team in another branch. He sings that It Is Well, and my heart I just started crying, and all I could feel was His Holy Spirit. He just wraps His arms around me, and God's just telling me, son, it is well. Your nana with me. So I had that moment, had that grieving moment. So those are those moments, thinking about, my grandmother and just what she had done in my life and where I am today and where I was at that time, because that upbringing, just remembering those that paved the way for you, those that have put Christ planting that seed in you, those are the ones that really, really pray and care for you. Yeah. And so that happening with, God wrapping His arms around me, just letting me know, son,
that's amazing.
It is well.
So good. Wow.
She's so with me. I was just like, oh, so told, Shills what happened to my wife, and she was just crying all the way home. And those moments. And so to this day, just so grateful, just so thankful that everything that I've seen and that I've learned from my grandmother is just like the blessings upon, blessings and so forth, and where I am today with wife and kids and church and family and health. Yeah, it's crazy. So crazy. Yeah,
that's amazing, man. I love that.
Yeah.
How do you, what word of encouragement would you give to people that have been brought up in that strong cultural thing, to not resent it or to rebel against it to a degree,
there was a transition period where we were going to our Methodist church and then we were going to a Pentecostal church at night. It was that, it was like, who are we? Sort of trying to find ourselves. And,
hidings in the morning.
It was, man. It was
hugs
like
in the evening.
Going to, church, in Methodist church, and then we were like out of there, and it was just like, oh my gosh, Lord, help me. I don't know what to do. I'm trying to get out of this, man. So it's like calling out of Egypt to come into, what I mean, sort of thing. But we would encourage, a lot of our friends, trying to hear from God, you know what I mean? Just hear in terms of where it is and what it's, a lot of the things was honor your mum and dad. That was one of the honor. You got to honor your mum and dad. And if that's where it's at, that is what you need to do. You just honor them. You can't do the, we're coming in and you're at another church. That's where the, you're not really honoring as such, you're really going behind their back. So you can't do that. So in terms of, until they make their decisions and have the boldness to sit down to go, God's called us somewhere else, and then then you got to go through the whole drama sort of thing, and then that's the things you got to face, because it was pretty tough for my grandmother to hear that we were going to a Pentecostal church, but she understood the God factor in terms of, if this is my son going searching and finding God,
praise the Lord,
then who am I?
Yeah.
Who am I to say?
I love that.
Yeah, because, because at first it was like, why are you doing that? You were born and raised Methodist. This is, what you should be doing. And in fact, she thought I was going to become a minister. I was like, oh my goodness.
A Methodist minister? Oh, wow.
That is the last thing. God rest your soul. Sorry, Nana. Yeah. But yeah, it was more so for me, I was just trying to find, who God is in my life and what it was all about.
Wow.
And so seeing all that into fruition, it was crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy.
Wow, I think it's powerful. I think you're doing an amazing job as a father now, and beautiful, not necessarily teenagers, now they're adults now, a lot of them.
Yeah, man.
Most half and half, your kids.
Yeah.
Half adults, half young adults, I suppose. But we're enjoying you guys being a part of the
we're loving it,
the family, and
we're loving it. We're loving it here, and just to even share, the couple of weeks ago that Testify, and losing mum and going through that whole period, it was crazy. And so from that time, right, celebrating mum as well, I had we buried mum on the 10th of July, and then on the 11th of July I get these massive headaches, and then for 3 days I hadn't eaten, and I thought, maybe this is anxiety, maybe this is the cause of loss, because I just lost my mum.
Right.
So if you knew my story, it was like, God, where were you? What happened? Right. To son, she's in the best place ever. Right. John 3:16 talks about, my son. John 3:15 talks about, the eternal life with me. Right. So going through that whole transition period, and then I get these headaches, and I'm like, what is this? Right. And you know what he says to me? He says, opportunities. I'm like, dude, these are pounding, like pounding headaches. And I just thought, and then all of a sudden the Aussie mentality came in, and I was like, harden up, drink some concrete, eat some nails. But you know what I had? I had a brain aneurysm. So
what?
Oh,
so what had happened was I went to hospital on the third day. Thank you. And they said your high blood pressure. I was 190 over 120, which was about to have a heart attack material. So I thought it was that. But because I hadn't done an MRI, they thought it was just that. So they gave me some blood thinners and high blood pressure tablets, brought it down, flew back to Brisbane, had these headaches again back on the plane. I felt this pull in my neck, and I thought, Lord, what's going on? He goes, I got you, son, don't worry.
Wow.
Right. So then I land. We finally made it. I had to walk around the plane like 50 times because just to get the blood flowing in my body. And so we landed, and then I said to her, Shaw's, man, I got to see the doctors. And then she's like, okay. So the next day I was meant to book it, but I forgot. So I went to work. So I just went straight to work, and I was still getting those headaches, but it wasn't as bad. On the Thursday, because we flew in on a Tuesday, on Thursday, did the booking, went in there, did the MRI, and 2 hours later after the scan, my doctor calls me and goes, Brian, where are you? I said, oh, I'm at home. He goes, you need to come right now. I said, I just finished doing the whole, MRI. Why do I need to come? It's really, really serious. I need to see you right now. If you don't know what a brain aneurysm is, that's what you have. And I was like, a brain what? And so we get back to the doctors, and an ambulance is waiting for me. And I'm like, I don't want to alarm you, Brian. You don't alarm me.
Relax.
You
Stay
You'll
calm.
be fine.
Yeah.
We're just going to give you some. You know what I mean? I was like, hey. So I'm still like, Lord,
You're going to be all right, son.
what is good? Yeah. Exactly. It was like, don't worry, I got you. So I was like, oh my gosh. Like, and so we go into the hospital and the specialist is waiting for me. And then they've done the whole 3D, blah, blah, blah. And says, oh, this is what a normal brain looks like. And this is your one. So there's two arteries, the main artery and the little small artery, left-hand side artery. Left-hand side artery had this bag like this. And it was ready to pop.
Oh, wow.
So that's a pre-stroke. So it's about to burst. And when it bursts, that's when you have a stroke. How you even came from New Zealand because of the altitude, someone was looking over you, mate. And I was looking at him like, yeah, that's my mum.
Wow.
She says, can't come early now, son. I've just gone. You know what I mean? And so I was just like, what is going on? And so God was saying, opportunity, son. I still didn't understand. So I've just lost my mum and I've given everything and so forth. And so I'm in hospital now just questioning, like, what is this? Is this my test now? Like, what?
So your mum, that's your mum?
Yeah.
Your grandma?
No.
Oh,
so
your mum.
my mum.
Oh, your
mum. My actual mum.
Yeah,
so she does it now 2018.
Oh, yeah.
This is
18?
2018. Yeah, so just lost mum 2018.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy.
And that's when you had the...
Yeah, brain aneurysm.
So they had to operate.
So I had to operate. So I went through my main artery and my thigh.
Yeah.
Put a stent. Normally put the stent in the heart. No, I put a stent in my left-hand side artery so that the blood can flow through. Cleaned it all out and so forth, and it was crazy. So I'm in hospital, and one of the boys calls me. This is crazy. One of the boys calls me and says, "Hey, bro, we're coming down to see you. I'm bringing Alex." And I said, "Oh, yeah, all good." Anyway, 2 hours go ahead, and then they finally show up. And I'm lying there, and then I told them exactly what happened with Mum, like how I was just so angry at God, and then all I could hear was God was telling me opportunities. I was like, I'm just telling you my story, bro, and telling me opportunities. And he goes, tell Alex that his dad too is in the best place ever.
Oh, wow.
That he's got to let him go.
Who's Alex? Just a
So
name.
Alex was one of our friends.
Ah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
And so I said, Alex, God's just telling me to tell you that you got to let Dad go, bro. That Dad's in the best place, just like how I lost my mum, and Mum's in the best place too.
Oh, no
Right?
way.
And he's crying hard out. And then I'm really sorry, bro, but you got to let it go, bro. And his wife, he couldn't even talk. He was just crying profusely, and he just felt a sense of just release. And then the wife goes, hey, bro, it was really tough for us to come here today. And I said, oh, what's that? And he goes, oh, when you told us the room, this is exactly the room that Dad passed away.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Oh, no
Oh,
way.
wow.
I was just,
Wow.
No
And,
way.
he was so heavy-hearted that he needed to hear that.
Yeah. Wow, that's
And
amazing.
Yeah, so it was the opportunities.
Come on.
I'm like, God, man, why are you doing this to me?
Wow.
So you just never know through your
Oh, man.
trauma, through your, even when you're in bed or in hospital or whatever, God gives you that opportunity.
Come on.
And so for you to just hear what he's, like unbeknown to me, I didn't even know Alex's dad was, but for me to express and just let him know, God, something to tell you, bro. Your dad's in the best place too, bro.
Wow.
Gotta let him go. And he did. So those are the things, the crazy times happening. So now nothing just surprises me.
Yeah.
When God says opportunities and you take the most of it.
That's
those
awesome.
Opportunities, because that's what we're here for. I think.
Yeah.
Sharing what you've been through, what you've overcome, but also in those moments, just hearing those that may be going through stuff, and whatever it is. And that's what I love about our church is, just having that opportunity to hear people's testimonies, and you just never know in what stage in their life.
It's true.
And you could be that last resource as such, just to say, hey,
Hey.
how you doing?
Yeah, it's awesome.
What's really happening? You all good? And that could be just the
Life-changing for them.
life-changing moment for them. So, yeah, we'll just never take... We always say to each other, my wife and I, just never take the opportunities for granted.
So good.
'Cause you never know what that leads to, man.
That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, and that's a powerful testimony just in just that word, opportunity, because every situation, good, bad, horrible, unforeseen, is an opportunity for you to grow.
Yep.
And the other option is not an option for us as Christians, is to just face it and grow. That's powerful, eh?
Yeah.
So,
Well, we thank you for extending your time here today.
Yeah, bro.
And just sharing with us some of your story and
Pleasure.
a bit more detail,
Yeah.
But we just really love you guys and your family. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So thanks for being on the podcast with us.
Thanks, bro. It was fun.
It's beautiful.
Awesome.
Man.
Thank you.
Bless you.